That's the positive side. The positive side is the one that you outlined, where it's like this guy is saying, hey, he's banged up, but he doesn't think that this is going to be something that's overly terrible and that he can get back to normal. And eventually they'll be able to mitigate this to where he's in the 90 percentiles, right? When we're doing the fake percentages of how much someone has to give. But let's just put it out that way. That's the nice way. And that's probably the real way, right? Like, let's be clear here. This is where I really lay my belief. That being said, part of my fear with this, James, is the feeling like he is trying to get back and trying to play enough games ahead of this tournament to justify him being at that tournament and prioritizing that tournament in a way that I don't think should be prioritized. And again, this is just a conspiracy. We're just two friends having a conversation back after. This is not based on information. This is even based on true belief. I'm just saying that is how it's going to be looked at if he goes to that tournament and then comes back and is hurt again. And you know what? Where there's going to be physical play, one would imagine, is did you see the junior game? Did these two nations hate each other? There's a lot to play for. My guess is that Canada is not going to go light on Austin Matthews simply because Mitch Marner's on the team, that he's going to get banged around in that tournament. And if he goes to that and he ends up getting hurt or worse, or then it becomes a situation where he's back on the table, the trainer's table, the doctor's table, whoever's table, he is going to take a PR hit in this city like maybe we haven't seen since Sundin wouldn't waive the no trade.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to be pretty darn close to 100% to go to that. So maybe they're just, I don't know. They're not going to announce that he's shutting it down for that tournament right now.
No. I agree.
There's still enough time.
I agree.
So we're just kind of, but I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he doesn't go.
Yeah, I will say this. He cannot go. I'm like my dad to me when I tried to go out on dates in grade 4. He's like, you're not doing it. It's not happening. Sorry, buddy. Like you're I tried grade 4. I had my first girlfriend.
That's a UConn
No, grade
thing,
5. Grade 5. It was grade 5. It was grade 5.
Married in grade 7.
Well, the thing is that actually the girl that I was supposed to go on a date with, I think got carried across the elementary school yard to like be my girlfriend. I didn't even know she was going to be. We were paired up. That's the way that goes in grade 5. Not the best. But yeah, he can't go flat out. Like this is something where the optics of it are too much. He would genuinely have to have put in now this entire month ahead of it and looked phenomenal and not have it be a story at all for people to even not question it. And even then, I think that it's fair to question it. Like, again, he cannot get hurt at this tournament. He's the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs now. That is supposed to come with something different. And I'm sorry to do this, but you just can't tell me that John Tavares would be doing the same thing if he had the same injury and going for Team Canada. Like, I don't think that he would. I don't think that many players would.
Yeah, I mean, that's a conversation that's going to pick up a lot in the next, 2 or 3 weeks. So I think right now, if you're the team, you want to just respect his process and hope that he gets better. And, you don't want to be going to him now and saying, you got to shut this down for this thing. You wait till you know where you're at. So
I think I'll take it actually a little bit of a step further. The team can't be the ones that tell him no.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can broach the conversation. How are you feeling about going to this thing? And I mean, if it was the Olympics, I think it's a little bit different.
I agree.
Right? Like,
agree.
Probably a lot different.
It's not the Olympics, man. It's just not.
It's not a thing anyone's probably going to remember long term.
It will be remembered in that moment, and it will end up being something where my take on this, I haven't shared this yet, but it's kind of going to be like a COVID Cup, where if Canada wins the Four Nations and then they win the Olympics, it's going to be like, hey, we won both these tournaments. Same for the States, right? Like you win both these tournaments, it's going to really mean something. But if it's not the double gold for whatever nation ends up winning the tournament, it's going to be kind of, at the end of the day, irrelevant. Like it's going to fall behind what the Olympic gold is, right? Like if USA beats Canada at the Four Nations and then they lose to Canada in the Olympics, no American worth, a grain of anything is going to be like, whoa, we beat you at the Four Nations. Like, okay, like awesome. Like, congratulations that you won the warm-up tournament. If you win both, you get to be like, yo, we beat you at 2 best-on-bests in a row. That is massive. That is monumental. Like, you got to carry that one. So to me, I think that part of the captaincy has to be the lead by example portion of this. And for, like, if it was me in my ideal world, which this is what that is, this is my show, I would hope that Austin Matthews, let's say February 1st, like couple weeks out. Well, he's also maybe got to give his team a little bit more time to prepare for him not being there. So let's say somewhere around the end of the month, should be going to the Toronto Maple Leafs and saying, guys, I know we're eventually going to have a conversation about this, and I know the responsible thing to do for me is to rest through this tournament, and that I can't put my body through a quick turnaround, highly intense tournament, and then come back and feel like I'm going to be giving this team my best. I'm the captain of this team. I appreciate what that means to this market. I understand what this season represents for the fans, and I will not be going to the Four Nations tournament. I'll be withdrawing, and I'll be putting together an Instagram note or a PR piece that allows the rest of the hockey world to know.
Yeah, that all sounds like the right timeline, but I think the tricky thing is going to be I think he is going to be back playing NHL games before then, and if he doesn't have another who was the player that cross-checked him? If he doesn't have another incident like he did against Buffalo, then maybe he's playing at 80-85% come the end of January, and then it becomes a harder conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. You got to remove the hard conversation from you and the team. Like, that you have to remove it, man. Like, again, it's the juice is not worth the squeeze on this one for him. If he goes to that tournament and he ends up getting injured, or he comes back and is compromised, or gets hurt at any point after that tournament and he plays in it, I don't think the market will ever forget it. Like, I don't. I think that you will have a complete generation of fans that will always remember Auston Matthews as the guy who went to the Four Nations tournament instead of sticking it out for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, it just, you know how it is here. And I hope at this point
very leafy. It would fit with everything that's happened in his tenure here, just all the weird stuff look at what happened during the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I understand it. I empathize with him. I think everybody here is rooting for him just to be healthy, and they would all love a world where he can nip this in the bud and go play for his country. And even as a Canadian who is as diehard a fan there is and like actually loves the best on best and loves the rivalry, I want to see Auston Matthews there in an ideal world. Like, I don't want America to have an excuse of, we didn't have Matthews at this tournament. Like, that's not ideal for me. That actually diminishes a tournament that I think I'm in the minority about when it comes to caring, about the stakes of it and believing in that double gold scenario. So I don't want them to have an excuse, but yeah, you can't have him go, man. You just can't have him go. It will show such a complete misunderstanding of what it means to be a Maple Leaf and what it means to be the captain of this team and the responsibility that he bears as the leader of this franchise. Okay, so let's move forward. So I don't know how I feel about this one, but I'm bringing it up anyways. So Isles game, Leafs could not break the puck out. You were at that one, right? Yeah, that was the afternoon game.
Yeah, I had a ticket to that game.
Yeah,
so,
Mr. Fanboy living in the city. Do you wear a jersey?
No, I don't own a jersey.
Yeah.
The crowd was surly for that one. Like, a friend of mine has season tickets, and so I've sat in those seats before, and often the crowd up I was up in the 300 with the people, with my people, and but they were angry, and maybe they didn't enjoy spending their New Year's Eve watching that game, because that was one of the worst games I think I've seen from the seats. It was very, very boring.
Yeah. They got completely hemmed in the second period, especially. It required Steven Lorentz' goal of the season for them to beat this Islanders team, which it was a beautiful goal. There's no question about it. And the Leafs continue to do their thing where they protect leads, which, again, league leading, blown leads. It's a huge positive on the season. It should be mentioned over and over and over again with this team. Even now, despite, them being, 4-4 since Stolarz is out, like they've actually...
I think 5-4 with that win.
5-4? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So 5-4. So slightly above 500, which is nice. But so they can't break it out in that game. And it was, to me, one of the most glaring issues with the team. And then you're looking at right now the way things have gone with the blue line from an offense standpoint. No goals from a defenseman in December. No points by a defenseman on the power play in December, which is crazy. I think still the only team in the NHL that does not have a goal from a defenseman in the third period. That one might be wrong based on me not tracking it, but I followed it loosely, and I still think it to be a fact. Are we starting to see defense become a bigger need when it comes to the trade deadline than we had originally anticipated, which was sort of the thought being, hey, this team needs to add a little bit of depth, probably on the right side, maybe someone who can play with Morgan Rielly and help balance things out. But ultimately, you're not spending major assets here to a position of like, hey, as much as they clearly need a center, and especially given the Matthews injury, these needs are closer to one another than we thought even a month ago.
Leafs all in on center hunt. Treliving's bold moves could shape Toronto's future. As a die-hard Toronto Maple Leaf supporter, it's hard not to get excited about the latest trade buzz surrounding the team. Brad Treliving, the Leafs general manager, appears poised to make some daring moves to strengthen the squad's depth down the middle. The whispers of significant trades are growing louder, and Elliotte Friedman of Sportsnet has added fuel to the fire with his recent revelations. The situation has become even more pressing as the Leafs grapple with the ongoing upper body injury to team captain Auston Matthews. Matthews has already missed the last 4 games, and while the team is doing its best to stay afloat, the need for reinforcements at center is undeniable. Treliving, it seems, is ready to part with valuable assets to address this glaring need. The centers on Treliving's radar. Names like Jake Evans from the Montreal Canadiens, Brock Nelson from the New York Islanders, and the Philadelphia Flyers' Morgan Frost have been mentioned as potential targets. These players bring a mix of experience and skill, each offering something unique to the Leafs lineup. But, as Friedman highlighted during his appearance on the Fan 590's The Fan Hockey Show, the price tags for these players vary significantly. That's the number one thing he's, Treliving, been looking at all season, Friedman noted, emphasizing the GM's focus on finding the right fit at center. This isn't just about plugging a hole, it's about finding a player who can elevate the team to new heights. Priorities in focus. While some fans might argue that the Leafs need help on defense, Friedman suggested that Treliving's primary focus is elsewhere. They did a lot of their work in the off-season. I think now there's a question if they need to go find someone to play with Morgan Rielly, he explained. But, it's not their number one priority. I believe their number one thing all season has been, let's find another center. This clear focus on center depth speaks volumes about Treliving's strategy. The Leafs are willing to pay a hefty price, but there's a caveat: the player must come with term. Why term matters? The preference for term isn't just a strategic move, it's a sign that Treliving is thinking long-term. Rentals can be tempting, especially for a team looking to make a deep playoff run, but they often come with risks. One of the things I've heard is that if they're going to spend assets on a center, they would prefer it to be someone with term, Friedman revealed. This approach ensures that any trade made benefits the Leafs beyond the immediate future. Internal struggles and potential fits. Internally, the Leafs have tried to find solutions. Fraser Minton showed promise earlier this season, but the organization prefers to let him develop further with the Marlies. Meanwhile, the Leafs' current lineup has struggled to maintain its depth in Matthews' absence. One intriguing option could be Vincent Trocheck from the New York Rangers. With the Rangers facing their own challenges, could they be persuaded to part with a player like Trocheck, who already has chemistry with Leaf stars from last year's All-Star game? The road ahead. As the calendar flips to 2025, the trade deadline looms larger. Treliving's actions in the coming months will undoubtedly shape the Leafs' playoff aspirations and potentially their long-term future. For Leafs fans, the anticipation is palpable. Every move, every rumor, and every game feels like a piece of the puzzle. Treliving's willingness to swing for the fences shows a commitment to bringing a championship to Toronto, a dream that has eluded the franchise for far too long. Why this matters? This isn't just another season. This is a chance for the Leafs to solidify their identity as a contender. With Matthews expected to return and the possibility of a major trade to bolster the lineup, the team is poised to make a statement. Treliving's boldness, combined with the team's potential, makes it an exhilarating time to be a Leafs fan. Whether it's Evans, Nelson, Frost, or another unexpected addition, one thing is clear: the Leafs are in it to win it. So, buckle up, Leafs Nation. The journey ahead promises to be as thrilling as it is unpredictable. Treliving's moves could define the legacy of this team, and, hopefully, end the championship drought that has haunted Toronto for decades. The weight of expectations. The Leafs are no strangers to the pressure of the spotlight. Toronto is a hockey city, and the Maple Leafs are its beating heart. Every move made by management is scrutinized, every decision debated endlessly by fans and analysts alike. Treliving stepped into a challenging role when he took over as GM, and his willingness to take bold steps shows he understands the weight of these expectations. What makes this moment particularly critical is the team's current window of contention. With stars like Auston Matthews, Mitch Marner, and William Nylander in their prime, the Leafs are in win-now mode. The front office knows that wasting even a single season could have long-term repercussions. Auston Matthews, the catalyst. Matthews' injury has highlighted just how crucial he is to the team's success. While his absence has been manageable in short bursts, it's clear that the Leafs' center depth isn't built to withstand prolonged stretches without their captain. This has amplified the urgency to bring in another center who can contribute immediately and lessen the load on Matthews when he returns. The captain's recovery timeline is still uncertain, but Treliving's proactive approach suggests the team isn't willing to gamble on waiting too long. The goal is clear: solidify the lineup so that when Matthews is back, the Leafs are firing on all cylinders. The cost of boldness. The term significant assets isn't used lightly. Whether it's high draft picks, promising prospects, or even current roster players, Treliving is signaling that no stone will be left unturned. The Leafs' prospect pool is respectable but not overflowing, meaning any trade will have to be meticulously calculated. There's also the financial aspect. The Leafs are a team that operates near the salary cap, so any addition will require shrewd cap management. Could Treliving pull off a move that strengthens the roster without hamstringing the team's flexibility? If he does, it would be nothing short of a masterstroke. The fan base's role. Leafs Nation, passionate as ever, has already begun dissecting potential trade scenarios. Social media is abuzz with debates about who should be targeted and what assets should be sacrificed. Fans understand the stakes, and there's a growing sense of anticipation, bordering on impatience, for Treliving to make his move. It's a delicate balance for the GM. While fans demand immediate results, he must ensure that any deal aligns with a long-term vision of sustained success. The pressure to deliver is immense, but so is the potential reward. Comparisons to past GMs. Treliving's approach invites comparisons to his predecessors. Some GMs were criticized for being too conservative, while others were seen as overly aggressive. Treliving, however, seems to have struck a balance. He's willing to take risks, but only if they make sense for the team's broader goals. This calculated boldness is exactly what the Leafs need in this pivotal moment. If Treliving can pull off a game-changing trade, he could cement his place as one of the most effective GMs in recent Leafs history. The trade deadline looms. The NHL trade deadline is one of the most exciting times of the year, and this season promises to be no exception. With the Leafs actively shopping for a center, every rumor and report will be magnified. Other teams are watching closely, too, as any move by Toronto could shift the balance of power in the league. It's not just about who the Leafs acquire, it's about what message the move sends. A major trade would signal to the league, and to their own players, that Toronto is all in. That kind of confidence can be infectious, sparking a surge of momentum heading into the playoffs. Lessons from the past. Leafs fans have seen their fair share of trade deadline moves over the years, some more successful than others. From acquiring veterans to bolster playoff runs to making unexpected gambles, the franchise's history offers lessons for Treliving. The key will be avoiding the pitfalls of overpaying for short-term fixes while maximizing the impact of any new additions. The future of Fraser Minten. One of the most intriguing subplots is the development of Fraser Minten. The young center has shown flashes of brilliance but remains a work in progress.